Yeah, I hope I'm audible, yeah. Sounds like a Teams meeting, right? But yeah, yeah, post-lunch session, I guess, but we'll try and keep it as interesting as possible. And the topic is actually pretty interesting even for me, because I also am part of the highly regulated industry from mutual fund side. And a lot of my counterparts I see out here, some there on the chair there. So definitely, I mean, we are looking forward to this. So I'm just going to keep this open, okay? I'm not going to specifically ask individuals. But like the first question, something I would like to get a response from everybody. Okay, like what's the most interesting experiment your tech team has tried recently, and what did you learn from it, even if it didn't go as planned? You know, it's something from the innovation side. I can start from the. Yeah.
Thank you. See, as far as technology is concerned, and especially IT, every function looks for interesting things. See, as I told that we are regulated, so all the industry, BFSI is well regulated with RBI, IRDI, and all these regulators. So, though we are innovating new things, interesting things, yes, because the disruption of technology is there, whether it is say AI, whether it is DPDP regulations and all. So you do interesting new things, innovations, but with some guardrails. Like I am just telling, we have done some interesting things, developments. See, for our credit decisioning. See, AI we use for credit decisioning. See, earlier also credit decisioning is happening. For sanctioning a loan, credit decisioning was happening. But currently, for how the AI is helping there, see, we have done in sandbox zone for the credit decisioning. Normally, earlier it was being done through bureau regulated data, but it is not sufficient. Now we are doing with alternative data, like transactions of customers, like social medias, feedings. Then also some not regulated data, irregulated data also, which is giving a feeding, so that we have a complete view of customer financials. Based on that, it is giving the decision maker for credit users more deep into the customer financials and making the credit decision faster. How it is happened? How it helps us? It is helping around 10% faster. But in the same time, there is a biased decision also. We need to look for that. And we are not making into deeply into this model or AI infusion directly into the productions. We have done in some isolated environment, and we find it out that 10%, 15% increase. Same time, this is one portion. Same we are also doing for collection part. In the collection part, how the early warning things. See, this also helps AI because he is taking data from various alternative channels and finding basically from the transaction which is happening from our his customer transaction, how far, when he is paying EMI, whether it is in cash or in the, this is for online, how it is happening. Based on that, and when he is getting bounce, whether he is getting, see, we find it out to predictive analytic. In that, it is showing whether customer transaction he is doing on the due date or post due date. If he is doing post due date, how many times he has done in his 12 months? Or whether consecutive 3 bounce is there, that indicates the customer behavior, so that our collection team can take, these are the accounts for their making convince to customer and finding these are the going to be fraudulent, so that they are looking for that. So the innovation is always there. Same time also for, I am saying for cyber security, how AI especially we are using, because there are a lot of traffic is coming which is not meaningful. The transactions, traffics are coming, whether it is network traffic, whether it is application traffic, anyhow, there are a lot of traffics are coming, and we do not know which one is legitimate. Because we are working with complex environment, like multi-cloud, on-prem. So this way, I am saying the SIM tool, which is getting all the logs, but how to analyze these logs? These logs.
Oh, how do you reduce the noise basically all around?
Yes. So that way, actually, it is giving the legitimate things and very sense to the organization. And these are the logs which is really required, meaningful. So that way, these are the innovations. Innovations means we have to see within the guardrails.
Yeah, with the guardrails. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yep. A very interesting question. And I just want people to resonate that actually what I talk about. So I'm from the broking industry regulated by SEBI. I'm a fan of SEBI, by the way. Okay.
Hey, who is not?
Yeah. Better. That's what I said. So people, when they close the day at 3:30, immediately the next day starts. The problem is statement, how do we start the next day without having the maintenance time? Because there is a EOD, BOD, and all that has to happen. So traditionally, brokers used to do it for a long time. Each broker have had their own way. How can they cut short the maintenance time? And most of them define it operationally by putting a different settlement calendar, parallelly both settlement calendar running for the next day. My colleagues know that because they have been working for. So this was a problem statement. And we wanted to put some innovation in that. I'm belonging to Aditya Birla Money. And we had this problem in hand because we were taking a little longer, and that longer was considered a downtime. So this question was related to the technology innovation. So what we did, we started a in-memory website. We defined a different calendar, of course, but we didn't do it operationally by having a different kind of setups in the system, or maybe different kind of calendars. We tried to do it using in-memory, and right now, this innovation actually helped a lot, and we are nearly kind of 23.5/7, not all 24/7. So technologically, everything is possible beyond the boundaries. I'll just keep it short. For one of the innovations, there are many we try to do, because at Aditya Birla Money and all, that we are having a separate hub, and we try to foster the environment of that. You just keep coming with the new thoughts and new solutions, which can be very, economical also. Thank you.
Yeah, Yogesh, something that you experimented with and maybe it did go as planned, did not go as planned. What was the learning? Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I think I represent a mutual fund company, DSP Mutual Fund. And at DSP, I think we are very tech heavy in terms of investment in technology and all. And we strongly believe that data-driven approaches in investment field is something which is our forte, and we wanted to continue it as this guideline for the company to take any decision. So in mutual fund, basically there are two main functions: fund managers who invest money, who has intelligence of putting the gamut of right stocks so that we can grow people's money, and that is sales, who is bringing in this thing. So coming to the technological innovation, so we have in-house built some products, highly innovative, highly complex, helping fund managers to take better fund management decisions, and sales do better sales. When I say this, there is a product called Jarvis, which we are investing on it from quite some time now, almost 4 or 5 years, and there are top layers of, being put on top of it on AI/ML. When I talk about AI/ML, this is highly abusive term also. Everyone wants to use it, but in real term, machine learning, and on the predictive analysis side, very recent experiment which we have done is Jarvis creating a portfolio parallel to machines doing it parallel to the fund managers, and nudging the human biases, showing them that this is machine created, this thing, especially on the quant side of things, technical analysis, using autoencoders and all, and a good progress here. So just wanted to share this with all of you. And let's see where it will go, but I think
Yeah, it's an exciting thing to hear about. Yeah.
Yeah, very good afternoon. Nice question. Probably the experiment what we have done recently. So I represent Ananth Shares and Stock Brokers Limited. We are a full-fledged financial service entity offering almost all the product to the customers in terms of equity, derivatives, commodities, mutual funds, PMS, SP, AIF, bonds, so on. So the experiment what we are planning to, we have done it maybe last 2 years before. Management was requesting to create a product basically to provide a 360-degree view for all our customers and relationship manager. Since it's a multi-asset portfolio and multi-data-driven kind of an approach, so we build the product, we done the experimentation, we have created the kind of an API-driven approach, building a integrated with multiple systems. Maybe it's a back office system for mutual fund, RTA, custodian, PMS, data integration, all kind of stuff. We have created an API-driven approaches, and we have tried to showcase this kind of a single view for a investor. Some of the challenges what we came across since different asset classes. So what Sir has also rightly mentioned, multiple BOD, OD process, different point of time. Maybe equity get completed at midnight to maybe commodities get completed at 6 o'clock, then mutual fund coming at 8 o'clock. PMS data are coming for internal, maybe at the end of the day, external PMS are able to come at different settlement cycle, once in a month kind of stuff, AIF. So lots of data challenges what we face in terms of this thing. That's one problem statement where you get multiple settlement cycle for different of the product. Same way, if you work on the valuation part, there are the different NAV cutoff date coming for multiple asset, and within the mutual fund industry also for different schemes we get different timing to update the NAV coming for maybe midnight for some of the asset classes, 90% get it. Funds of funds, overseas fund get at a late kind of a step. So these are the typically problem statement, one with respect to settlement cycle, second with respect to NAV. Third and most critical coming into the market is about the corporate action, where you get lots of corporate action data coming into the picture. We are able to update the quantity part, we are not able to update the valuation part, since lots of cost of acquisition data are not shared by the respective RTAs or the corporate entity. So there's a delay in that kind of stuff, which created lots of challenges probably. So basically, where not of kind of say, I can say while doing an experiment, this was basically more of a learning point what we have observed while creating an experimental project. And then we try to basically learn few things what we basically learn out of this. That, okay, whenever you are trying to build a project, try to involve not only your product team, design team, but also try to involve a compliance team as well as, because it's more about where you are trying to provide reporting to a customer at a 360-degree view. And since multiple within the group, you are not only governed by the SEBI but also governed for the RBI, other stuff, because there's also loans and again share coming in, MTF facility where you are governed by other regulators as well. So how to keep basically at the same point involvement of stakeholder, where basically experiment not only involve, you can say it's more about when you build a product, it's like 30% kind of a coding, but 70% is basically your innovation, design, how you try to build it. A product and have that 360 view at the initial stage. So this is what basically when we build the product, it's about kind of say team learning that we encounter, and we try to fix that while building a project. That these are the learning which we need to taken up when we are trying to, because it's like you are building a product, but there are so many cases. So how you basically not only involve the product team but also try to involve all the stakeholder at the first phase, so that you are trying to give, and what kind of impact we had. It basically impact our RM productivity went up like anything, because since you are able to give a 360 view to RM also, RM can basically cross-sell the other product to a customer. A customer not only was basically earlier was confused, but now he is able to get a complete clarity on the different product what he has. within the group also what investment he has. So it gives a complete clarity as compared to over the confusion part. RM productivity was increases basically, and moreover you are also able to meet the compliance kind of receive, and you are able to provide the complete 360 degree.
Yeah, I
So
think
these are
with
basically
all of us,
experiments,
the
challenges and
complexities
learning.
are more with all the third-party integration that happen while solutions are all there. You know, our time time to actually roll out some of these things are dependent more on some of these critical third-party integrations. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Hi everyone. I'm from 361, and the innovation, if we talk about, is what we have done is in the NBFC part where we were facing a lot of challenges in terms of UHNI lending specifically, because when you start giving them loans, there are a lot of parties and lot of complexities, individuals, non-individuals, multiple parties involved, co-borrowers and third-party pledgers. So to solve those problems, because currently what we were doing is we were sending the people to them or sending the papers and then signing those papers, meeting those guys, because they keep moving from one place to another. It's very difficult, and to solve that problem we started digital process, complete digital process. We from step 1 to end of the step till the loan disbursement, we are trying to make it digital, and lot part of it is already digital, which solved like it increased the efficiency by 85%, because the time which was taken first was 6 to 10 days, and now it is cut to 6 hours. And at the same time the revenue got increased, because the amount of loan which were getting lost in terms of logistic lags, now it has increased to around 20 crores a month.
Yeah, that's huge.
So that is some part of innovation, and we have reduced. So it's a RM portal where because lot of non-individual people will have boards, and different kinds of entities have to sign those papers. So all those things are now from paper to a link, just a link, which is sent to the parties on email, and they are able to sign it via e-sign, and that reduce the effort from our end. At the same time, it also increase the customer satisfaction and experience at the same time. So yeah, that's the one of the innovation we have done recently, and it's live also.
Great. Omkar?
Hey, hi everyone. So, from my perspective, we have started this innovation journey for contact center. In contact center, what we have tried as a group, we have done one POC where we are planning to replace a contact center guy. Okay. Now, what was the challenge? There are many challenges which we have faced. First thing, where we are facing a challenge like the token cost. The token cost was more than what we are spending on a human. So now, understanding that challenge, what we have done, we have started, initially we were using LLM, now we have started using SLM. So my token cost would get reduced. Second challenge is putting a guardrails. Because we are a regulated entity, we have to put in guardrail, we have to ensure that our customer should not get any wrong data. So all those guardrails we have to put in. Second, how to end up the call, because each and every human have a target of closing that call within 2 minutes. Now, being AI bot, how I'm going to control? So what we have done, we have started, if that time goes up, then we start transferring that call to a human person. And that way we reduce the answering TAT. That is what we have done. So these are some learnings where we have done on the contact center part.
Arpan?
Yeah, so thank you, and very interesting to hear from all of you, I think. The way, so I'm Arpan, I come from a company known as Nippon India Mutual Fund. The way we look at AI is a bit different. We say that AI is broken up into 3 parts. One is broadly 2 parts first, customer and internal, right? External, internal. And the next is on platforms, off platforms, and at branches, right? So at branches or at office. That is the way we look at the AI trilogy, we call it, at this point of time. How many times have we failed? Stopped counting. Stopped counting that. But yeah, we're failing very fast. So which is good, so we can move on to something else. If I talk about, and I'll give you a success story which we have been able to do, and I'll give you a failure story which has not worked out for us, or we need to sharpen it. You never say never, right? On the on-platform piece, we have consumers whom we have not met, right, who come to your digital assets, right? And your asset is not God's gift to mankind, so they choose to come or not to come, right? But however you want them to continue their sip, right? And so what do you do when they come in, right? You only get some 15 to 20 seconds because they're not here to read about your company, right? You're going to put across 3 most important items that they need to do, and you need to tell them how to do it. That is something that we've done on platforms through nudges and notifications, and we've connected to our WhatsApp channel also, saying, you know, you don't need to go to a website, but if you are there, do this. In case you have to leave the website or come back on a WhatsApp, do this. It's the same AI engine working behind it. So that makes it easier because rather than judging the customer, I would judge myself saying that what do I do when I actually go out to purchase or see anything on the internet site. I'm a frivolous netizen, right? No matter my age. So that was the on-platform story where we've met with a considerable amount of success. We measure it in terms of how many drop-offs, how many redemptions, how many SIP pauses, right? So that's premium revenue to the company. On the off-platform, we say, hey, there are many consumers who create their platforms of choice. What's a platform of choice? Platform of choice is you have a great restaurant in your locality where you order for butter paneer, but you don't want to go and sit and have it in that restaurant, so you order it from Swiggy, right? So the platform of choice for us in BFSI is aggregators and any place where the consumers are going. And you can't tell them, no, come to my website because I have AI-enabled stuff. So you do it off-platform by saying that, hey, here is an emailer or a WhatsApp message with the right recommendation, right? With the right reminder, which leads you to your platform of choice, right? And you can finish it wherever you're comfortable. So that's off-platform for us. We've also got great success on that piece. Now, where we have failed a bit, yeah, that's important. We came up with something called ChatGPT for the organization, right? Thinking
I'm
it's
sure
great.
everybody's failed over there when they began. Probably they reach some point of success subsequently.
Yeah, so thinking it's a great thing, and it is a great thing, right?
It is.
It is a great thing. But then, come on, if I want to read a policy, I will go and walk up to my HR rep and still ask him, "Kitna din mein chutti expire ho rahe?" You know, now that it's the year end. I'm not going to go to ChatGPT, log into the portal, company portal, and then download it. So adoption becomes a huge problem. And that same person who's not downloading my ChatGPT through the office portal is actually using Perplexity and doing all other stuff, right? From making his CV to sending birthday wishes. So I think we are at a very evolving stage, right? We have to celebrate those small successes and not get shunned by so-called failures. I think it's all a very experimental stage that all of us need to understand. The next stage comes, which is the metric stage, where people will ask you, okay, I've pumped in so much money with the digital and technology team. Tell me how much have you saved or how much business came in? I think that's going to be the dance with the fire at that point of time, knowing what you need to prioritize.
Absolutely.
So that's a quick summary of what we've done, we just...
Yeah. So coming back to you, Arpan, again, just one more. So in NBFCs and institutions like us, where compliance and caution are so strong, so how do you create room to experiment without stepping on those regulatory landmines? I mean, finally, whatever we need to do, we have to do it within those boundaries, those frameworks and we have customers on the other side coming in from experiences like the Amazons and the Flipkarts of the world. So then how do you ensure that, we are doing whatever we are doing within those regulatory guidelines and still getting a good customer experience back?
Yeah, so I think 2-3 things. We always talk about ethical AI, right? Today, if you look at any any department across any organization, be it private or public, everybody is talking about be safe, keep your data safe, don't click on this link. And I believe AI is a great window, right? If not closed well, you will have mosquitoes coming into your house. Okay, that's one. So what we do as a policy is whenever we want to do any experiment, we create a sandbox in the organization. And why should we experiment comes from the consumers or from our people at the ground level, right? When we build something, we see 2-3 things. One is PPI needs to be addressed. There's no personal data that needs to be tracked or it cannot be open. Second is it needs to be part of the consumer digital experience. And don't open up another window because you've created something on AI. And third is go through all the checks with your compliance and regulatory team. If required, put it in the OPCO, right? Have a chat quickly with Amphi to understand whether this is going through. And wait for it. Don't be in a rush. Also, the way things are changing now in this world is, while we are doing a lot of work on AI internally all across our organizations, please know this for sure. There are product companies who will come with SAP kind of products, which will be used by all of us, right? So suddenly you will see that there are packaged products for industries specifically to enhance consumer experience. I think also scouting for what is available, relevant to your segment, is something that is a so-called sandbox for us, all of us in this room, in this industry, to understand what works for all of us in the BFSI sector.
Sangeet, your views?
Well, I'll say that the regulated guardrails are actually helping the overall cause for me. I'll just try to resonate. Example, a kid who is playing in his house and there is a guardrail and boundary which is being created because the guardian knows that actually what he should be crossing and what should not be. So he can run fast, he can play fast, he can play with fearlessly with the speed and all that. But he knows that actually guardians and parents have taken care of his final part. That's what I'll say. Of course, parents are also evolving. So this is what I take it, the regulated world and the kind of guardrails. I'll just try to give one small example to people will be able to connect. So, बहुत छोटा सा example है that dealer desk. No, it's a very regulated desk and a person is not supposed to take his mobile or any kind of device, not supposed to call because there are lots of HNI customers and high kind of intense volume kind of things keeps happening. You're not supposed to disclose that. You hand over everything outside the room, but the people, those who try to breach, they are also innovators. Just recent example, our guardian, the SEBI chairman, he has been pointing that how he is strengthening all that. And no, there are an innovator who was there. What he did, his mobile, everything, hand watch, all these things, his smart devices were outside. He created a website itself inside because the internet is accessible. He is able to upload the data on the website. Within himself, he knows, and within few people, what are the things are there. So, regulator has to step forward and evolve further. That's what I'm saying, that this innovation is not the world of regulators. It is the people, those who are breaching, they are also innovating very fast. Oh, Hindi mein kehte hain, tu dal dal, main pat pat. That way. So, I always appreciate when we are having some guardrails. And when we are trying to innovate, we have done many. We have done good amount of AI experiments also, and we are very comfortable because SEBI is a very good guardian that way, having good boundaries. So it gives us lots of hurt to us that we can experiment within that boundary.
Thanks. Navratan, do you think fail fast culture actually works in financial services, or is it something we just talk about in presentations? What are your views?
So, to some extent, I can say yes, probably to some extent, it's no. It's dependent upon what project you are basically handling kind of stuff. Suppose, for example, if I'm working on some project which are more of critical kind of like I'm working on a payment stuff where basically involve the client money, trust money, and in that probably I cannot basically do an experiment in kind of stuff because it's an involvement of client money. I'm doing some kind of an working on some project which are basically PMLA or kind of KYC stuff, then probably I cannot basically do a fail fast approach probably. But there are some projects which are working, like for example, we work on the WhatsApp chatbot which we created for our customer. And we done lots of experimentation in terms of creating lots of use cases in terms of providing reports, lots of journey in terms of onboarding of journey, in terms of doing an investments or providing them some kind of report. So we started with providing holding report to the customer. Initially we saw the traction was very low, but then moment it picked up, and more of the customers were started using report, and it's come up not directly going to the back office or maybe providing a single sign-on login to the customer. They were directly coming to the WhatsApp number, giving them the request and getting the detail. So in that kind of an you can say a software which are building it for the customer, we can do lots of experimentation where I advise team basically you can do fail fast and learn fast and move on kind of an approach in this kind of a project. So it depends upon project to project, whether the project are critical, then probably you don't end up doing experiment, but there are some projects which are non-critical, which are non-financially risk kind of thing. You can try to do some kind of experiment, learn from it, do some kind of improvement, and then move on.
Prateek, your views?
Yeah, I agree to some point with Navratan. Basically, when there is some high stakes are involved, then we should not do it. But even if there are some innovations which we need to do in those kind of steps, because those are the steps which are most moving parts. So in those cases, we create sandbox environments as suggested by him, and try with a very less percentage of customers who are very less risky part. Probably with the UATs and different kinds of environments we can try. And after all the things are passed, so there should be a very clear checklist, which if all the things are passed, then I think some part of innovation should be there.
So you think fail fast does kind of exist?
Yeah.
Thanks. Lalitji, how do you encourage innovation among tech teams, without burning them out with constant, next big thing expectation? Because ye ho gaya, abhi what next or whatever. I mean, how do you keep encouraging the tech teams to keep giving their best, because the management is always going to expect a lot more than what you are delivering.
Yes, actually it's a business team always come with new requirement, and team is also, we have limited team bandwidth is there. But that does not mean that we will not go out of that and do some innovations. So innovation is there, and that means we have to prioritize the things and understand the requirement, what is required, the need of our. Based on that, the team has to be allocated and the resource, then looking for that immediate business outcome. And the business outcome means growth. For that only, the team and the requirement, even also we fail, we learn from that. Even if we fail also, we learn from that. That does not mean that we are failing with customer money. We have to be in very restricted environment, making, even though we fail, we do it again, find it out the root cause analysis, understand why this is got failed from learning to that, then ensure the right team to right skill set allocated so that we can get a productive and efficient way of business objective, which will help to business team and growth of my company. That's what we look for. Even though team is allocated, even required, we can present to the board. This is the need of our, so we can have resource, whether it is outsourced, whether we have to in-house. That way we can go ahead, but nevertheless, we have to innovate. Same time also, looking within our boundaries of resources. Thank you.
Anybody else would like to take up that question? Prateek, you want to? Yeah.
Yeah, so the approach we follow is basically always allocate 70% of the bandwidth for the core task, BAU task, and then divide the leftover 30% for the refactoring and resolving the tech debts. And uh, out of the 10% maybe we can use for the innovation part. So there we do lot of innovations and we do POCs which might even not go live. But there's the learning part and all the engineers will resonate with that. The actual engineer wants to do some R&Ds and learn new things. That's how they will grow. So we have made it part of the software development life cycle, and we allocate that bandwidth in the sprint itself. So it reduces the chances of burnout, and even the outcomes are aligned with the business. So yeah, that's it.
Omkar, your views?
Yeah, so we have started a exercise where we have a monthly cadle. That time we ask 2 or 3 members to understand new technology, what is going on in the market, and explain about that. So that will give encouragement to other guys as well to understand what new technology is there, how we can implement in our day-to-day life, and how we can improve our own products. That is what we have started practicing.
Thanks. Arpan, to you, I would in fact ask everyone out here, have you ever had an innovation that looked silly at first, but finally caught on and scaled?
Oh yeah, many times. I think. So I always say innovation stems out from madness, right? And madness stems out of passion. So when you're very passionate that you want to be giving something new in the industry, in a very highly regulated industry,
Correct.
you need to think twice. Where is it going to move? So it happened for us also. So we said, hey, why do people need to type? Why can't we bring in the conversational commerce? Where while you're going home, you should start investing in mutual funds by just talking to your phone. And everyone found it very silly, right? Saying, this is much ahead of times, hold on, X, Y, Z. But the team working with me was very convinced about it. And we started seeing the early entry of Alexa. We started seeing the early entry of how the Gen Z and Alpha had started to behave, where they wouldn't even send a WhatsApp message, but a recording to their uncles and parents saying, get me this while you're coming back from office. So we introduced something known as Simply Save, which was very, very simple, where you just speak and your investment happens, right? And you can also onboard while speaking, right, if you are a new customer. And then suddenly, the next big thing was that we started getting one conversation every 7 minutes. So we had not planned for it. And it was like, okay, if there's one conversation every 7 minutes happening, then we need to put all the AI and digital architecture behind it. And also a support team, just in case something conks out. We worked over it over the years. Today, very proud to say this, that a chunk of our business comes in from people talking and investing.
Great.
Right? Yeah. So that is one live example.
Omkar? Any innovation that looked silly at first but caught hold on and scaled up? Any innovation that you did was initially you thought was silly or something that you just experimented with, but later on became a larger piece into your entire ecosystem?
So majority of these innovations are more of costly currently what we are facing. And from that perspective, we have started a few initiatives, but unfortunately because of the cost factor, we have stopped that things.
Prateek?
Mostly about the automation part. So we have APIs, we have mobile applications, and we have web applications as well. So every kind of user interface and backend microservices, lot of moving pieces are there. So investing more and more in the manual quality engineers is very difficult these days. And then also because of so much is getting delivered each and every week because of the business ask and all. It is very difficult to pace that. And to solve those problems, we started thinking about completely automating everything. Like once you create a ticket from the product manager, that time only the QA automation cycle should start in parallel. And the innovation, as you said, which looks silly in the starting, was there is no coding involved. So the platform which I was building was it does not require any type of coding. So even the product manager, while writing the story on Jira, can automate the same story later. So that was the innovation which we tried, and it went successful at some point. But of course, the adoption is still less.
Navratna?
Specifically, if I talk about this, it's more about basically where similar to use cases where our product manager were writing the story. So we were trying to, some of the smaller projects basically we're trying to use some kind of no-code, low-code platform where even if a project management write a small story, it's automatically able to create the entire workflow and that convert the entire life cycle for a requirement. So that kind of an innovation basically saves time in terms of creating the BRD, or even if there's an iteration in terms of the product manager, we can quickly go and have that repository in place. So that's kind of a low-code, no-code which we are evaluating in terms of writing a smaller use cases, probably not bigger project, for a smaller project.
Yogesh? Probably Jarvis was a silly idea to begin with and then scaled up.
Jarvis is one story which is very successful, but I want to share one more story. This is a innovation we thought that we will be successful, but we were not very sure. It is a market abuse mandate from SEBI saying that all the recordings of all the dealer rooms in whatever format it is, whether it is through Teams recording, whether it is Bloomberg chat, whether it is phone calls, landlines, everything of past 8 years need to be recorded, and if there is a suspicious activity, you need to report us. Of course, and something which is to such a scale is not humanly possible to listen to all the recordings of whatever format and then find it out. The technological solution is the only way, and we were at the verge of buy versus build. When we have gone out to the market, those solutions are exorbitantly costly. On finance has given a quote of 80 lakhs and all. We thought of why not we experiment. Couple of very enthusiastic engineers said that yes, we want to do it. Of transformer models we have picked up. Within 4 months, we have given the solution called Hawkeye, very successful in 4 different languages: English, Hindi, Gujarati and Marathi. Whatever the language it picks up, it translates it, transcribe it, summarize it, picks up, and the red flags, there is a library glossary which we have created out of it, of anything, even to an extent of, then we refined it also. Suppose there is a silence. Is it intentional silence, or it is because of some system failure or something like that? Because there could be some code words also which these guys might use to pass the signal in some manner. So we could pick out very old conversations which are really red flags, and then around that, human compliance officers can listen to those and sort of report to SEBI. And this is one experiment which I would say is very, very successful at our end.
Sangeet?
Well, there are lots of crazy things which kept happening when we were working right from the start of the online trading. We, Aditya Birla Money, having one specialized bandwidth allocated for innovation, we keep it aside. Maybe you can call it burning, but again, see, there are 2 approaches, one left to right, in which you are having a problem statement, and then you go and innovate some kind of solutions which we generally talk. And there is a right to left also, where you are having some solution, and then afterward you try applying that to multiple problems which you had. So we are having a left to right approach as well. Right to left is always there. So I'll just tell you one very interesting story. Aditya Birla Money is a very research-heavy company. We are having a good research team. And we try to guide our customers with our own research. And there is a good success ratio for that. But there is a limitation of human. No, one can do the research maybe up to 200, 300, or maybe 400 stocks. No, how much? Because it directly proportional to the manpower which you have. So, and if we go for any kind of engine and all that, it is going to contradict with your research. So what we did, we made a hybrid, using some technology and using some manual. So now we are having a partnership of which all the stocks of the industry, we call this partnership with the markets mojo. All the parts of stocks, you are having the research available, which is through the engine. However, your specialized results is a hybrid category. It is available in a special way to the customer. And now our customers are enjoying that feature because multiple stocks are there which might not be brought in with your research, but customer wants a view on that. So no, it's a very different, I'll say that it is again left to right. It was not thought about. But again, when we had some kind of partnership and some people who were available, we thought about it and we webbed a solution around it, and it is highly appreciated in the industry. There are many, but again, this is one example I thought that I'll quote it. It's helping the entire industry and the customer base because they have the research of a specialized company. At the same time, they have the automated research also.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, the same question.
Yes, actually, see, compliance is there, and we need compliance with Agile. See, we should have infrastructure, whether it is cloud or this is on-prem. So, but the IT architecture should be looking for that. We should be always compliance. And compliance with also innovations. See, just I can say that for our organization, we have done that for risk assessment, for customer categorization of risk. So they are predictive and also AI flavor, actually looking to that high data volumes. See, first of all, while customer is getting onboarded, with the KYC data and demographic data, I should be bifurcate whether he is a legitimate customer or he is already done fraudulent with some other organization. So I can bifurcate, and there are fraud data is available with some of the intelligence, those who are making for this fraudulent data. So it will deep dive to that, system will deep dive to that, understand whether he has anti-money laundering or he has done any fraud. So this is why I am predictive. So I will not be able to onboard that customer. Immediately there is a risk, it will go to the risk team to understand why this customer is getting onboarded. So the risk team will find it out, he will understand. Sometimes legitimate or sometimes also false positive also coming to there. Or it should be legitimate, then the risk team will identify, understand the customer, where it is, and to the deep dive into the feeds, what it has come, then they can bifurcate. Yes, even though it has come a false positive, they will take it as legitimate customer. So that we are restricting customer onboarding, fraudulent customer, through this risk assessment automation. Second is, once customer is onboarded, and the life journey of loan life journey will be with transactions. From there, the transaction while he is doing, say, suddenly, I am saying we are also deposit taking, suddenly there is a withdrawal of 1 crore. Why it is happening? And in loan case, suddenly, say after taken loan, 4-5 months or 1 year, he is taking BT case. What is that? See, there is both way. Whether the customer is dissatisfied, what is the reason? So these warnings, risk team is finding it out, so that there is one thing is better customer service, that also giving why it is customer, whether it is a service issue or customer itself having various reason, like interest rate, nothing can be done, it is a policy basis. And if there is a transaction which is happening, like I'm saying, he's not paying EMI in the right time, then bounce, then cash, then various transactions. So it is warning us and ensuring that we have to make the customer very counseling and all. Then after that, this is helping to organization for risk management, automations and all.
Great, yeah.
It is an
It's a very
innovative thing.
critical part of the entire ecosystem anyway. Without risk management being in
Yes.
place, obviously that's going to be.
Right, sir.
So one last question to all the panelists here. I mean, quick one actually. So what's one idea you would love to test if compliance or budgets were into constraint? I am sure there's a lot of it, but Arpan, maybe we can begin with you. And yeah.
Yeah. I don't think budgets or compliance, I'll just keep it by the side. I think compliance is never a constraint. You come, they figure it out. But I think regulatorily, especially for the mutual fund industry, I would like to test one nation, one KYC.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, not from the BFSI perspective, but there should be some kind of a research going on the human perspective. So, how to detect a medical emergency, those kind of predictive analysis should be there for using the LLM and SLM. That is what my experience.
Prateek?
From BFSI point of view, I think there are a lot of systems we used to take data on daily basis for mutual funds, for PMS, AIF, and there are a lot of challenges also. So basically, the dream would be to have a complete digital journey where no human in the loop is required, and bring AI with it. But of course, with AI and all these things, the data becomes the challenge. So
You have DPDP also on top of it, right? So
yes.
yeah.
So that is one of the thing I would like if it can get improved. If there is a central like depository of something like we have for CDSL, NSDL, but still have to rely on lot of different resources to get the same kind of data and then do the correlations.
Yeah.
So that is one thing.
So if I would like to add to build something which is without no constraints, so first would be the single one client, one code basically across all asset classes. That would be the one requirement. Second would be basically I can build an AI use cases probably where I can create a digital nudges where probably depend upon the market volatility. I can you can say send an alert to a customer even whenever customer is basically over investment in a particular asset class or a particular scheme, so that immediate digital nudge can be sent to a customer and it can help him to make the investment decision rightly at that point of time.
Yogesh?
Yeah, very difficult to imagine.
We are not even allowed to promote any
We
scheme,
are-
right? So
Yes, we are sort of so much into this. First, guardrails comes to our mind, and then we think of allowing something. So for us, there's a lot of pressure of using the new age as soon as some model comes in Claude, Perplexity, anything. Our fund managers wanted to use it for many things, and we are always hand-holding them, saying that stop, you can't do it. Possibly that freedom which they always seek for, and I think that is what the topic also. If there are no regulatory, I would allow them to do all whatever they want to do. Anyway, which they are doing it somehow from the back door. So yeah, so possibly that.
Sangeet.
So Yogesh has answered very interestingly. He asked for all. He didn't limit him. His universe is all actually. ये ब्रह्मा जी का एक कहानी याद आया था मुझे, in which that a person was asking ब्रह्मा जी वरदान दीजिए, 3 वरदान दीजिए. उसने बोला पहला ये, दूसरा ये और तीसरा मैं फिर से 3 मांग सकूं. Okay. So that's what Yogesh actually resonated. But anyway, actually there are a lot many. But again, one of the things I think that blockchain was one technology which did well in many other industries, particularly in crypto, even in the banking also, it solved lots of problems. I wish we could have had some more experiments in the exchange side, though NSC and all, they tried a lot at that point of time. But again, because new innovations and all that has been coming, I still feel that the blockchain, the unified kind of environment, having unified kind of environment and just one of the pillar is one broker, another pillar another broker, and no, it's propagating and keeping it as simplified. And so one simple environment, and that way, I think that it needs some more experiment if there is no budget burden and the compliance burden. This is what I wish. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, see, BFSI compliance throughout the financial year only we are doing. Every one other audit is going on. So the compliance, policy, process, innovation should work simultaneously. What we do innovation, then process rectification, then policy. So that's what actually, see, we need that all should be same time.
Yeah.
Then it should be in the start itself. While innovation is doing, let us understand whether I have the policy, whether I have the required process, whether I have required security controls. So
True.
all should be in the parallel. It is not that one by one.
See, the AML regulations are all still on consultation papers that are happening. Even the data localization piece is still not completely come out, right? So those things are still evolving, and while we are already wanting to do many things. So I think overall a fantastic discussion with everyone, and all of us, while we have similar challenges, we have overcome them in many other ways. It's good to see that we are continuing to innovate with whatever challenges that we have. So thanks to all the panelists here. It's been a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much.